Hello YouTubers and welcome aboard. I am Noob Flyboy X and welcome back to F1 2018 career mode, and we are back at home in the US of A. Here we go in our first lap in Q1, coming through here just in the last sector, coming down toward the final corner. I think that's turn 20 here at the end, though I could be mistaken, it could be turn 19. I'm absolutely hopeless with corners in a lot of these tracks, but there we go. That's fastest for that session initially. I'm not going to stay that way for very long. And I actually dropped down pretty close to get the relegation zone. I end up in 15th there, but we do move on to Q2, and here we go for our lap in Q2. I've gone for the harder tires, so hoping to get the one-stop strategy in. Third fastest at the time, and I decided I'm not really going to improve further as I was pretty low down. I ended up in 14th. So there we go, not starting very high from the US Grand Prix.
In 2012, America's on-again, off-again love affair with Formula One finally seemed to settle down with the completion of this wonderful racing facility here in Texas. Since then, we've been treated to some incredible races, including, of course, that classic wet-dry championship decider of 2015. Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Vettel, Nico Hülkenberg, and Sainz, Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Alonso, Ocon, and Charles Leclerc, Perez, Verstappen, Romain Grosjean, Iceman, Ericsson, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Well, you know me, Jeff. Anyway, here we go to the beginning here. No need to change the strategy because we got the correct one right from the beginning in qualifying. And there we go. 5 lights are out and away we go for the US Grand Prix, and Marcus Ericsson there gets a pretty good start in the Sauber next to me. But I'm going to dive up the inside here as we can do. I could have gone a bit more aggressive than that, but that's good enough for now. We're next to Max Verstappen there, and we just squeezed past him on the tail now of Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon as we head into the S's section here. Ocon getting away a little bit as the AI are much better through the S's than I am, but that's, you know, just how the cookie crumbles, I guess, with the stick that I'm working with the PS4 controller. Max Verstappen still very close behind me. Gonna have to work to get away from him. He's still pretty quick, and he's got pace around here. Hoping to stay close to Esteban Ocon so I can make use of the slipstream down the back straightaway. There we go. We've caught right back up to him with the bunching up effect into that corner. I can see Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc ahead of him, so I'm hoping to get past them pretty quickly as well at the start here. Down the back straightaway in Ocon's slipstream and rich revs on the engine. Going to make use of all of what we've got here right at the beginning. The slipstream hasn't paid a whole lot, but there we go. It's gotten us enough. We're down the inside of both Ocon and Leclerc. Squeeze Leclerc out there a little bit, and he's able to defend from Ocon getting after him a little bit there. So there we go. That's the end of the action on lap 1, but on lap 2 we've got a little bit more as we go into the S's again. Fernando Alonso has actually had an engine or mechanical failure here. It looks like mechanical failure, given that there's no smoke pouring out the back of that McLaren. We actually had a couple touches with him there as he DNF'd in a bit of an awkward position for us. But there we go. We were promoted up another spot, and we're already up into 8th place, so we've made a pretty good start here. There's Daniel Ricciardo just in front of us on lap 4. So we've caught up to him a little bit as he looks like he's struggling a little bit behind the Renault of Nico Hülkenberg, I think. The other Renault of Carlos Sainz, actually no, that is Sainz. Hülkenberg is a little ways up the road. So here we go, the first attack on Daniel Ricciardo down the back straightaway here. DRS open, but of course he's got it as well on Sainz just in front of him. He's going for the move as Sainz defends, and I dive a little bit further to the outside. I'm having to be very careful on the brakes there. We're on the rumble strip, so there's not nearly as much grip as I would like, but we make it work around the outside of Sainz. We're hoping to get the move done on Ricciardo there, but getting the move done on just Sainz we'll have to do for now. Following Ricciardo on to the beginning of lap 5, and he defends a little bit, but I dive to the inside a little bit farther, and we go through the first corner there. I'm leaving him the room. He's easily on the inside there. I'm going to have to let him have that one. I wasn't really paying enough attention, and I was spat out a little bit wide going into the second corner. Here we go on the back straight, though, on that same lap. Going easily past him there with the DRS and the power of the Williams. That's still something they've got going for us, even though this car is becoming more and more aero and chassis focused as the seasons go on. All the way on to lap 8 now, we're on the tail finally of the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Ricciardo, though, has stuck very close to me as some others around us have started to make pit stops. There we go, following through here. We're having to be very careful as Ricciardo is still very close to us, and we don't want to lose too much speed in the dirty air of Bottas in front of us. In goes one of the Renaults, and I can see the other Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton is also in the pits there. So he's on a 2-stop strategy. While I was doing this race, I thought he was on a 1-stop because I missed some of these. But here we go, making the move on Bottas, trying to go around the outside this time, keeping the other drivers guessing at what I'm going to do, going for some different attack strategies here. For some reason, my game skips there. I really don't know why, but when we've come out of that skip, we're actually completed the pass on Bottas up into 3rd. Not too long after that, on lap 10, we're up into 2nd. It's Kimi Räikkönen in the first of the Ferrari's pits and leaving Sebastian Vettel out in the lead. We'll have to chase on after him, and we will end up in 1st place as some others getting off softer tires will go in. So there we go. We're in the lead of the race so far, but Lewis Hamilton behind us has just set fastest lap. He's actually being very, very quick here, even on the 2-stop strategy, which is allowing him to use all the grip in his tires before he goes into the pits. And he's not really having to worry about conserving everything. Here at the end of lap 12, start of lap 13, it'll be us into the pit lane here. Daniel Ricciardo will carry on. I can't remember if he's pit already or not. No, he hasn't actually, because here on lap 14 he will pit and we will get past him, and that will promote us back up into 5th position. Ricciardo will come out of the pits there. It looks like dueling with Valtteri Bottas behind him. So he's going to have a little bit of a hold up trying to counterattack us. But it looks like not as much of one as I've been hoping for, because he gets past Bottas fairly easily as Bottas has a bit of a problem. Here's Lewis Hamilton coming out of the pit stops for his 2nd time here on lap 17 as we also pass one of the Renaults in the pit lane. Coming up to the back of Hamilton here, I'm close enough that I think I might be able to get DRS on the back straightaway, but he will actually run away through the S's here. Now on lap 18, I can start to see Ricciardo closing in on me. The 2 Ferraris up in front of me look like they're trying to get away pretty well in 1st and 2nd. Kimi Räikkönen there bringing up the tail of the 2, but he's going to have to defend from Lewis Hamilton here. As we can see, Ricciardo in the technical sections is able to close in on me. We can see he's starting to, make some serious inroads as we get on to lap 19. And he's not quite close enough to make any moves just yet, but by end of lap 19 rather, and start of lap 20, he's already close enough to become a bit more of a threat here. So he's closing in the gap here. And though he's not able to make the move on the front straightaway, here on the back straightaway is where I'm really worried, because he'll have a longer run of DRS. And he's also, as an AI, probably pretty good at saving up all the fuel and battery power that he needs to overtake me here. It's looking pretty good so far in terms of holding him off this time. He's still pretty close there, but I haven't seen the proximity arrow go off, and it only just gets there as we get to the braking zone. So I'm holding him off relatively well for now, but here we are in that same spot a lap later. He's much closer. He's able to get into my slipstream a little bit better this time, and has easily enough power to stay with me. Again, no hint of the proximity arrow just yet, but there we go. As we're getting close to the braking zone, he's closed it a little bit, and he tries a little bit, but he thinks better of it this time. It's not quite happening for him now. But as we can see now on lap 23, he's finally close enough, and this time he's using my slipstream to much better effect, and there he goes down the inside. And not a whole lot I can do left to defend it from that attack. So he's actually looking pretty good here. And in fact, the Renault of Nico Hülkenberg behind me is actually also looking pretty quick. I'm really hoping that he's not able to close in as we get to the closing stages of the race. I have DRS at the end of lap 23 and the beginning of lap 24 to try to close back in on Ricciardo. And I can see him gaining a little bit as we head into the first corner, but it's not enough to make up the distance that he's already gained. And here we can see through the S's a little bit later on, he's just able to leap away from me with a superior arrow here. We can also see, though, that Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault is closing in a little bit, but fortunately the lap counter is running down, so by the last lap it looks like I have just enough of a gap to get away with this. So it's a better result than at the US Grand Prix last year where we were 6th, and this year we will be 5th, which is a one-place improvement, but still an improvement, and it'll keep us looking in good stead for the championship points, and especially for the team.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So despite a good showing from Ferrari and from Sebastian Vettel in particular today, it looks like Daniel Ricciardo actually still retains the lead of the Drivers' Championship and is actually poised potentially to win very soon if he has some good results. So despite Lewis Hamilton also being on there, I think being one of the championship rivals, though I could be mistaken at this point, Ricciardo is still in a commanding lead of the Drivers' Championship. So we're going to have to see just how that pans out here in the next couple of races. For us, meanwhile, we've consolidated our position as best of the rest. We've got that pretty nicely, having had our win earlier on in the season and a third place in France. But it looks like Sergio Perez is actually getting pretty close to us, so I'm going to have to make sure I come home ahead of him from now on in the season. But anyway, next time will be the Mexican Grand Prix, where we're looking pretty good because of the long straightaway. And thank you very much for watching this episode, and as always, have a nice day.